Okay, we're back. It's time for another live episode of Adventures in Business Live. Happy Monday morning or Monday afternoon now. Mandy, how are we doing?
Morning. What are you doing? You staying up at night, Mandi? What's happening?
Oh my goodness. I'm seeing papers after papers, grading.
How many papers do you have to grade in paper grading season? Like what
Okay.
what are we looking at?
So we'll say I have probably about 140 total students.
Okay.
And so I have to grade their final exams. That's 140 of them. And then I have to grade group projects. So if there's 6 group projects times 4 classes, that's 24
Okay.
right there. And then then I have to play with the math to make sure the maths correctly. That's the hardest part.
The math be mathin'?
Because I have a certain range that I have to keep the GPA in between.
Oh, is that what they call a curve? Is that what the smart people call a curve?
It's a university regulated curve, so to speak.
Oh, what was the final project this year?
Okay, so for one class, they had to take a company and just evaluate the company and make 3 suggestions on how they can improve revenue.
Mhm.
Another class, they had to plan a tour, 1 artist and 2 supporting artists, music tour.
Mhm.
And another class, they had to take a piece of intellectual property and turn it into like a movie, TV show, or video game. So like Barbie. Barbie went from Barbie to a movie, similar concepts.
Yeah. Gosh, were there any that were like stick outs, like any that was amazing, or are you not allowed to talk about that?
No, I could talk about it. There was one, it was funny. I'm gonna put up a picture on LinkedIn probably the next day or two. One class, they did something based on this fairy story that's really popular for kids. It's like about fairies or whatever. So one class did that. Then one class did, they did something where they did Call of Duty into a movie. Another class, they did the treehouse, the magic treehouse, turned that into a
Aw.
TV show. So it's all sorts of stuff like that.
That's awesome. I love that.
Mm.
Well, I got to tell you, Mani, before we introduce our guest, this is going to transition into the introduction. But I have my little shoulder injury that I've been super sad about.
Mhm.
I returned to pull-ups today. You know how I love
Okay.
my chin-ups and pull-ups because I've never been able to do them. I just started a year ago. I haven't been able to do them for 5 weeks. And today in the gym, I got to do them. Now,
Okay.
they were
So,
modified. There was a lot of bands involved. It probably wasn't pretty, but it was a good start.
so this is a good segue. So when you're answering this question, I'm going to bring our guest onto the screen, but tell the audience where you first started off, how many pull-ups you did when you first went to try it, and how many you're up to now. Of course, when you're fully healthy. I know you're on the rehab now, but tell the audience that.
Okay. Well, when I first started, first of all, I was so afraid to even stand on the rig because it's like a heights thing. And I have vertigo and I get dizzy and I'm like all awkward and whatever. I was even afraid just to stand on the rig. So you
Mhm.
have to kind of like climb up on this thing. And then I had 4 bands, 4 of these elastic bands, and they were all thick. And I could only do like 5 at first. And then not before my injury, I had one little band and I could do 10. So it took me like a year and a half to go down there. But the thing is I have a video of the first time I got up on the rig. It wasn't even about the bands. It was about like how immobile, like how unconfident I was in my own body, like just being comfortable standing of equipment. So I just want everybody to know, just keep at something and try it, and you won't fall off the rig eventually. I promise. I promise.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a good story. So our guests are on the screen now. Introduce them, and we
Okay.
got questions to ask.
We have so many questions. Okay, I'm so excited. This is a very personal interview for me because we've got business owners. They run youth sports camps for Nike. They're so fancy. He was recently named Little League Coach of the Year. They both are diehard Padres fans. They are parents. They are spouses. They run an amazing business. They're the owners and head coaches of Earned Fitness, like a true power couple. VNA and Derek Yamada. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Make it sound so cool. I didn't know it was that awesome.
You are cool. You are awesome.
So I think I'm gonna let Mandi take the beginning on this one, because you can just share, maybe you just ask the questions to your journey, and then I'm gonna fill in because I have questions, but you're gonna run the point for this one. So go for it.
Okay. Well, I want to hear about Earned Fitness. I know what it is, but to me, this is a very unique workout situation. So can you just tell a little bit about Earned Fitness? And then I'll have a couple follow-ups to that.
Yeah. Well, when I think of Earned Fitness, I have to think about kind of how it started. We had a gym, a large group fitness gym back in 2017.
We opened in
2017. We got shut down because of the pandemic. And basically a lot of our surrounding community, we live in the Serra Mesa community, people started asking for workouts, but they weren't comfortable going back into the gym. And so a lot of our friends are like, let's just take some park classes. We went, did some park classes that kind of grew quickly. But it was once a week. And then people started asking for more. And then we ended up training people out of our garage, which was a small 1.5 car garage. Mm-hmm. So the space was limited, and I ended up training 4 people at a time, mainly 4 women at a time. Mm-hmm. And that's how we transitioned into Earned Fitness. We realized that was like our niche. The amount of coaching impact we had was huge. We loved that small group. We knew we can help people really achieve their results. And that's we had a disgruntled neighbor who reported us to the city, and it was kind of a turning point. We had to make a decision. Are we ready to open up our second brick and mortar, or are we gonna maybe change careers or go in a different direction? And that's how Earned Fitness kind of became about. So it's a 5-group, small group, semi-private training class where each person gets a customized approach to their fitness based on their goals, their capabilities, their needs. And but they still have the camaraderie of being with other people. So it's got a little bit of a social aspect, a lot of the coaching aspect, and the personal training. And yeah, that's kind of in a big general way, that's what Earned Fitness is.
I love it. I want to go back for a second. So like, you've got the disgruntled neighbor, like they're throwing eggs at your house or whatever they're doing. They're complaining. Like, what was that conversation like with just the two of you as you're dealing with the neighbor, and as you're like, do we do this again? Are we crazy enough to do this again? Do we not? Like, how did that conversation go?
So we didn't know who the neighbor was.
Okay.
So VNA was stressed out for a couple of weeks trying to spot him out, like paying attention.
Like spying, yeah.
Videos of us training. So I knew somebody was walking by, driving by, videotaping. So I was trying to figure out who it was.
Oh, that's fun. That's super fun.
But basically we got a letter from the city, and then an inspector showed up at our front door and kind of explained the scenario to us, that the city wasn't really cracking down on that type of operation. Mm-hmm. But when a neighbor complains, They have to come and look at the space and make sure that it's safe and that you're operating under certain rules. So we were kind of at that inflection point that you mentioned. And VNA was like, well, we need to keep this going, but I don't know if we should open a gym. And I was like, well, it just makes sense. She already had almost 20 clients in the gym, and it would have been a shame to kind of let that go. And we had opened a gym before in the process of looking at spaces and then getting licenses and equipment, and there's the whole checklist of things you need to do. That was a 6-month timeline the first time. And this time she looked online for some spaces and couldn't find anything and called me one day really stressed out and upset. And I hopped online and changed some search terms around. And basically from the moment I hopped online to look at spaces, we were opening this gym in 9 days.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
I found a space. It was vacant. We reached out. We knew what equipment we had to order and already had all the contacts. And we already had like a banking contact to get that taken care of. We went back to the same place that we had worked with the first time. We had everything lined up in 9 days, and we opened on September 1st, 2022.
Oh, wow. What a story.
Something he doesn't mention and something that you asked about is the conversation, because after we closed our first gym, we said we would never open a business together.
Something changed.
Good. The word together. Never everyone together again.
But, so it was definitely a tough conversation. It was definitely, okay, if we do this, how are we doing it differently than the first time so that we can continue to have our life balance, so that we can continue to not bring work home and it affect our marriage or our daily life. And we just went into it with such better mindset than the first time. And yeah, it's worked out great since, but it was definitely a tough conversation, and it's definitely, it tests boundaries for sure.
What were those differences? I'm sure Mandi's going to ask that, but what were those differences? Like, what were you like, okay, this was not awesome the first time, so we're not going to do that again? Or what was something you're like, yeah, this kind of worked last time, let's do this again?
Yeah. I mean, I think we sort of had our own roles in our first gym, but they weren't very clearly defined. And the first gym, for example, Derek was our GM, for example, and our GM. And I don't do well, like not being able to speak up and say things. So I was constantly like overstepping those boundaries. And this time we just were kind of really clear. Okay, this is the things that Derek's taking care of. This is the things that V's taking care of. We made sure that they were more in line with our strengths, so that, we both felt really good in those positions and staying within those boundaries. And yeah, it's worked.
Long story short, DNA is the general manager now.
Love it. I was going to say, I feel like he's the GM, no?
He's the general manager.
Roles.
I'm the head coach and the programmer, and I deal with a lot of the back end business logistics and the finance side of it. And she takes care of anything in the front end that has to do with managing our members and our clients.
That's a good division of labor. Like, and it takes a little time to figure out who does what, I mean, that's good. It's second time around.
Yeah.
I have lots of questions. My first one is we're well aware that maybe 95% of people who set like goals in terms of fitness never complete them. Like they stop, they say people stop. Was it February? It's like a date in February. People kind of stop going to the gym.
Yeah.
What characteristics have you seen with people who are successful and stick with it, like Mandi, and undergo, transformation? What are the common characteristics you notice in those people?
Yeah, that's a super good question. And being in this industry, we've seen what you mentioned a lot, kind of like the New Year's thing. There's a couple of ways to look at this. The first one would be from the client themselves. Fitness and prioritizing it is more of a habits-based process, right? A lot of times that new year rolls around and people look back at the past and they're disappointed. So they think like, okay, I'm going to go be different this time. So they sign up for a free class or they go to their local gym and they sign up, right? So step A is out of the way. But the habits that need to be in place to accomplish those goals are not habits yet. And that's the tough part. Is motivation can get you in 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks. But after that, the habits that you've developed over the course of your entire life kick in, right? So it's really hard to make something that I'll say, I want maybe a bad habit. If you have bad habits that have just grounded themselves in your lifestyle over the course of the last 20 years, it's really hard to make those go away in 4 weeks.
Right.
You need someone that can recognize that and plot those out for you and be patient with you and not try to make you do it all at once, but we kind of try to tackle one thing at a time. If we can put that on paper and make a tangible process that you can slowly work up to instead of expecting you to go from 0 to hero in 4 weeks, like they'll have more success.
Yeah. When I think of that, I think of the type of workout needs to fit the client's general enjoyment, right? Like it's really hard for people to stick to a workout that they absolutely despise. So for example, you'll hear a lot of people say, I really dislike cardio. Well, you probably shouldn't sign up for something that's you're going to dread doing every single day. So finding a place where you enjoy the environment, the vibe fits, kind of the programming fits some of the things that you like. Obviously, we know a lot of people don't like working out, right? But there's different variations of exercise that maybe are more enjoyable for people, and finding that. The other thing that I always tell people, and this is kind of interesting from a business standpoint, at least for our gym, what I've noticed with our clients, we have a much higher retention rate and a longer period of time that they spend with us, despite the fact that we're a much higher price point than our first gym, right? So it's an investment thing. When they invest in themselves and it kind of hurts the wallet a little bit to miss a class, they're not going to be missing that class, right? Whereas one of our first gym was like an unlimited membership. You know, it doesn't matter how many times a week you come, you pay the same price. And, you know, when you break it down to number per class or the price per class, it's low. That's not the case here. The case is that you invest in yourself differently, and you're showing up to those classes. And it's worked for a lot of our clients. We have a lot of clients that tell us, I've never been able to stick to a program until I've come here, because I know that, like, I want to get my money's worth. Like, it's important to me.
Yeah. What are some of those habits that you kind of identify that are important for people to fix? And like you said, it could be they've had these habits for like over 20 years and haven't been able to correct them.
Yeah, great question. Oftentimes it'll be nutrition based, right? Many clients don't realize that the way they fuel their body doesn't just affect like their pounds on the scale. It also affects their energy levels and their ability just to feel like they can go out and take on the world, right? So nutrition plays a large role. If the nutrition's not, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if it's not up to par, now you come to a workout and then you don't recover from that workout well. So then you feel worse after your workout. And even though it might be the nutrition's fault as the gym, it's kind of our fault, right? They don't know that. So if you don't feel great, then maybe you don't want to go back. Sleep habits are important. You know, if you have a 5 a.m. class, you're like, all right, this is the only time I can go. I'm signing up for that. That's great. The first 3 weeks, you show up at 5 a.m. But on week 4, when you're on 4 weeks of going to bed at 11:45 p.m., 12:30 in the morning, watching Netflix, now it's really, really difficult to get up at 5 or get up at 4:30 to make it at 5. The habit of Like, hey, if I'm going to get 7 hours of sleep, I need to be in bed by 9:30 at the latest so I can wake up at 4:30 and make my class. Because as the day starts to take over, that motivation to go at 5 p.m. doesn't exist. But if they can't get the sleep habit under control, then the AM class just isn't going to happen. So those are just a couple of examples.
I have a habit to add.
Yeah.
Yes.
The habit of making your class a non-negotiable, right? Like you set your schedule, you put it in your calendar, and it's not disrupted unless it's something urgent or super important, right? I think that that's something, and even speaking it to the people around you, letting your coworkers know, or your boss or your spouse, hey, my 8 a.m. class on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's a non-negotiable. That's part of my lifestyle and taking care of myself, and I can show up the best for everybody else. So if possible, like, try not to disrupt that.
Got it. Okay, one more, Mandi, and then I'll turn it over to you because I got more. But I'll first start with V for this one. I'll start with V. What's the most common misconception people in their like 50s have about working out and getting into shape?
Yeah.
Asking for a fraud, Damani?
Hey.
I think that there's two that come to mind. My first one is going to be that you have to be fit to get into a gym. And I think we get this a lot, like, oh, I'm going to go, start my fitness routine by walking and doing stuff on my own, and then I'll come to the gym. It's like, no, we're the professionals. We're here to get you kickstarted. We're here to do it safely and intentionally for you. It doesn't matter if you're in here and maybe doing very small amount of work. That's okay. That's how we're going to get you up. If you haven't started a fitness routine on your own for the last 30 years, it's probably pretty unlikely that you're just going to kickstart it without the help of somebody, right? And then the second one, I lost my train of thought with it. Do you have one?
So you go ahead, because you said first it's just about like, well, go ahead, Derek. See if you have one, and then we'll kind of jog your memory.
Yeah. Can you ask the question one more time, just so?
Like, what's the most common misconception people kind of over the age of 50 have about getting into shape?
I think that people over 50 think that if they lift weights, it's going to be really bad for their back and their knees.
Okay, good.
It's something that you do when you're younger, but not when you're older. That assumption couldn't be further from the truth. Everything that we do in a gym setting with weights, you're doing in your everyday life, either with no weight, with light weight, maybe occasionally with a heavy weight. FedEx drops off something heavy at your front door. Like, we're bending over, we're squatting down all day long. We're pushing, pulling with our arms. And anything that we do in our everyday life, we can strengthen in the gym with a little bit of loading that's beyond what you do in everyday life to make everyday life feel a lot easier. And when it comes to the back and the knees, obviously some folks will come in with existing problems or chronic issues.
Yeah.
And that's our job, is to create a plan of exercises that keeps you continuing to use those patterns in a way that makes sense for you. So either we're changing exercise, modifying exercises, helping you progress weight slowly over time. Our goal is to help you stabilize those range of motions and continue to use them. So that would be the biggest misconception, is that you shouldn't lift, when actually you need to. We just need to do the exercises that make the most sense for you. And as a coach, our job isn't just to find those exercises, it's also to watch you and make sure that you're doing them correctly so that they are safe. Because every exercise can be safe as long as it's done well. It's the problem. The problem is when it's not done well, then we're at risk. So that's why I think everyone needs a coach, especially when you're 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We need coaches, Amani. We're old people now.
Okay. Okay. Still young. I'm not old. I'm just, what I like to
Amani,
say.
we're the same age, Amani.
I know. What I tell my students, I say, don't say, oh, just say we're like seasoned or we have lots of seasoning or something like that.
We're marinated or we're wise.
Wise. They're like wise.
What university are you at in Las Vegas?
I teach at Cal State University Fullerton, so I commute and teach. So I teach at Cal State University
wow.
Fullerton,
Okay.
and most of the students I teach are like juniors or seniors about to graduate.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a fun.
Yeah,
projects you listed earlier sounded kind of fun.
Oh yeah, we have fun. We gotta make it fun. So yeah, and it's memorable too, and it builds their portfolio, so it helps them too.
Yeah.
Okay, Manny. I mean, I can keep going, Manny. Should I?
I got a question. I got a story and then a quick question. So one of my first workouts, it's nerve wracking a little bit because there's only 4 or 5 people. Then now I love it, but at first, when I first got in, Jacqueline, the trainer, was like, well, he wants us to do this. And then somebody else is like, well, what did he mean? But it was all women. I'm like, who is he? Who's this he? This capital H, this God they speak of. And at one point, I'm like, who's he? And they're like, Derek. I'm like, who's Derek? Anyways, they talk about how you put together the workout. So I want to ask Derek, and obviously V chime in too, but this one's for Derek. I want to go over the technical flow of the workout because I've been working out for years and I've never worked out in this way. And I know like studies show that when you walk people through a consistent plan, or when you, even like Amani and I, when we're speaking on stages, we tell people immediately, like, here's what's about to happen. And then we're going to do this. Like that just puts people at ease right away. And I've never been in a workout situation where it's like, okay, here's what we're going to do. Here's this process, this process, this process. I feel like it immediately puts people at ease. But I love, you come to class, there's a question of the day, and then there's a blood flow and a warm up. There's like a process to it. And at the very end, we clap twice and yell earn. And I love to clap. So I love that. I love it here, but I want to hear. So this workout suits me, but I'm always at ease when I come to classes. I'm like, I know what to expect. Right. So Derek, like, how did the technical flow of this like come to be? Has it always been this way, or is this like an iteration of how it used to be?
So awesome question. This one goes back to the first gym. We used to own a CrossFit gym in 2017, and that was open for 4.5 years. And before we opened that gym, we were kind of talking about business models and what we wanted people to feel when they came to our gym. And we were eating lunch, and we were talking about In-N-Out Burger. And you're like, all right, In-N-Out Burger has been packed for 3 decades now, and the line just keeps getting longer. It's always been the same. Like, people know what to expect when they go there. Whether you go to one in LA or one in San Diego, they do it with the same quality, and you're going to get what you expect every single time. And you love it. It's high quality, and you can rely on it. So we're like, all right, how do we like make an In-N-Out Burger gym? And
not with burgers though.
Yeah. So we wanted the experience to be consistent every single time, regardless of who was coaching the class. Because in the CrossFit space back in the day, it'd be like, okay, one coach shows up and they have a certain style to facilitate the class, and then the next person shows up and does something completely different.
Yeah, that's been my experience. Like spin class or yoga, it's like it's geared towards the instructor. This is the first time it's just been consistent. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of the mindset that we wanted with it. And then we just needed to combine that with the science. And what we knew was that the warm-up needed to have 4 phases, right? So I'll kind of use some medium technical terms, but we get the blood flowing, that initial 3-minute part of class, blood flow. We're just trying to elevate the heart rate and get oxygen-rich blood to all of the joints so that they feel a little looser. Then we mobilize for 4 minutes, creating range of motion about all the key joints we're going to use for the day. So either that means we need to start getting some movement through the mid-back, the hips, the shoulders. So we prioritize that with 3 to 4 kind of active stretches. And then mobility without stability is bad for joints. So then we do our 4-minute activation phase where we use the bands to start getting the muscles that need to contract to stabilize the joints. We want those muscles to start firing and be active.
Mm-hmm.
So we have blood flow, mobilization, activation. You got oxygen-rich blood, warmth. Then we can mobilize and stretch the joints a little bit more effectively, keeping it active so there's not a lot of fatigue. And then we stabilize the range of motion. And then once we go through those 3 phases, we do the focused warm-up, which is the 4th part, where we teach you how the movements are to be done. And that also, we do those with lighter weights and dumbbells. So now we kind of are like preloading the movements so that when we break loose for the actual session, you've already done it with weight, we're ready to rock. And now you can start kind of loading up to what the workout is for the day. So those are the key parts. There's blood flow, mobility, activation, focus. Then we put in the work. And then at the end, we have a focus cool down with rolling and static stretches.
Mm-hmm. How did the cheer how the cheer come to be? Because that's my favorite part.
We had a business partner back at the CrossFit gym who was very animated. Mm-hmm. He and I went to like a CrossFit gym kind of training, like a gym owners convention back in like 2016. And they did a 2 claps on 3 break at the end of that. And we kind of held on to it. So he kind of started it, and then people came to expect it. And not everyone's comfortable with it. But I think kind of the funny thing, like with the In-N-Out burger, is like, even if I have a class of 3 people in front of me, I know that they clap and never say anything after, like we still do it.
Yeah, you got to do it. Yeah, I'm sad when you don't do it. Yeah.
So I had a follow-up. Mandi shared with me, Derek, that you shared that if you're not breathing correctly, that can actually cause you lower back issues. Can you explain that concept and UV? Because I found that fascinating.
Yeah. Did you want to attack that?
You can start it, and then I can.
Yeah. V's actually really good at utilizing this one because she has a background in pre and postpartum training where the breathing's super important just for women who are dealing with pelvic floor issues. But breathing properly is 50% of the job. And what we're trying to do in most exercises is create a connection between your legs and your arms. And that connection is our torso, right? If the torso is soft, then we can't transfer power back and forth between our upper and lower limbs. And the breathing is key to making sure that the spine and the low back is stable under the loading. So if we're back squatting, we have weight on our back, even though it's a leg exercise, we need this whole spine to be stable. So what we're trying to do is create tension and then create air pressure, kind of like blowing up a tire for your car. So if the air pressure is proper, then the car is going to perform really well. And if the air pressure is too high or too low, primarily in weightlifting, too low, then there's going to be movement under load, which can equal like compression in areas that we don't want. So we're looking to create what's called intra-abdominal pressure. So we brace down and then inhale. But when you inhale, you want to inhale around your low back. So you almost want to like push the air below your chest, as opposed to when we try to relax, we breathe up high into the shoulders, which kind of restricts towards the low back. So that's what we're looking to do while we're under load. And then once you're kind of standing tall, you can catch your breath. But as you go into movement, we typically want to breathe and brace when we go down into the rep, and then we can exhale once the rep's over.
Got it. Okay. Maybe I can keep going. Like this could be a good time. Actually, no, keep going. You ask a couple more, and then we'll get to our flip the script.
Yeah, I want to completely switch gears because you're entrepreneurs, right? And all entrepreneurs always want to expand, whether we should or not, right? Like our brains are just insane, like thinking about all these different things. So if money and time were no object, how would you expand your business next?
I mean, I think just different locations. I think this is a niche kind of concept that isn't in the surrounding areas and isn't, around as much, right? We see a lot larger like large group classes or just personal training. So yeah, opening up different facilities across different places. I know when we were first looking at spaces, some of them were larger, and it was much larger than what we wanted. But we even talked about like, hey, could we be in a large space where we separate it into 2 classes running at the same time? So that could be a way of expanding, but I think primarily potentially expanding into other cities, other places.
Yeah. Makes sense. Same for you, Derek?
I think so. If money or time weren't an issue,
Yeah.
we do differently. I feel like if money or time weren't an issue, like as far as this building, I'd want to find a place that was in a busy area like we're in, but more a standalone building as opposed to in a strip mall. It'd have a little bit more fun doing some things maybe outside, which I think is a lot of fun and adds a little different way to spice it up. Expanding, like Vianney said, I wouldn't mind doing that if we found a really great person that could manage a couple different locations. I think as far as our time right now with how old our son is, it's really important to us to be in a position where we have a little bit of freedom of time to just, I always say yes. Like when he asks me to do something, I want to be able to say yes as much as possible. That's what's most important to us. It's like just coaching his teams and going in the backyard if he wants to work on his hitting, or if he wants to go do something active, I want to be able to say yes and not say like, oh, I can go and maybe tomorrow, buddy. Like that always breaks my heart when I can't say yes. So I think we're in a good place with the time, but I feel like we could expand the operation a little bit. It might be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And that's so fleeting. How old is he? How old is your son again? 10?
He's 10.
Yeah. I mean, it's so fleeting. He's only going to want to hang out with you for a couple more years too. Like, it's just like, it's so fleeting. You've got to enjoy like every moment.
Yeah, we talked about that a few weeks ago. We're like, we got like 2-3 years before he's getting home and just trying to run off. And I just want to make the most of it.
Yeah. Or before he's just like grunting and answering, right? Like, I don't know if he's calling you bro yet. But.
Leaving us.
Yeah. Okay, Mandi, I'm going to pass it to you. I mean, I've got a bunch of others, but I don't want to hog it.
It's okay. So we're going to flip the script now. And we'll let both of you can ask myself and Mandi any question you like. So who do you want to ask the question to first? And what is the said question?
You got one?
Mandi.
Yes.
All right.
Describe our coaches in one word.
Oh, shit.
Each of them.
Each of them? Okay.
I'd give her like 5 words or less.
Okay, a few.
Oh my
just
God.
quick sentence.
Okay, Derek, dad jokes. It's always good for dad jokes. V, breathe. I'm always like, you are such a coach of breathing, and I'm always nervous I'm going to be breathing wrong, and I normally am, so that's good. Jacqueline's the ultimate modifier. Erica, improviser. That's it. And I've only had the other ones a couple times, and I can't remember anybody else's names. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, Nico. Right. Nico's given me some good modifiers too. Yeah. I think that's the thing. Having an injury, I've never been able to work out when I've had an injury before. And being able to work out and show up and have you guys be like, okay, here's what we're going to do. And you're actually still getting a good workout. Like that has been awesome. I've loved that. Yeah.
That was when I lost my train of thought earlier, that was kind of a myth, right? That you can't train while you're injured. And at least in our setting, like that's the reason you should come, because we can help you rehab an injury. Obviously, we're not physical therapists, which some injuries do require that type of knowledge. But, if we're talking chronic back pain, or we're talking, things that maybe you're also working with the physical therapist or your doctor, we can build you up that way. And so that was one of the myths that I was thinking of right now when you mentioned it. I remembered.
Yeah,
nice.
It's true.
Okay. Next question will be for Imani. What do you want to ask me?
She get to ask it, or me, or
anyone? Both, whomever. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Each of you ask one question. Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
All right, Imani, since you and Mandi have been into business together for, I think you mentioned 4 years, what has been the one thing that you two tend to battle over the most?
This is fun.
Oh,
This is fun.
oh, her cursing for sure. Her cursing.
Funny.
That's probably the main thing, and it's not really a battle; it's a loving battle because it's just so funny to me. So that's what comes to mind first. That's pretty much it.
I don't think we've had a lot of battles.
No,
We
no,
do. We have a difference of opinion, but I think that's good. We don't want to work. We don't want to have the same opinion. Yeah.
yeah. That's a good one. V, you got a question?
Yeah. Kind of spin off of what you were mentioning, the projects that your students are doing. They analyze a business and where they were trying to identify one area to improve for revenue, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Just knowing what you know about Earn Fitness, what would be a recommendation you would give to us?
Oh,
That's a good one.
so let me see here. I would probably say to just continue, because you have such a specific niche, to continue to be thought leaderships in your specific niche, particularly about like people who are like seasoned over 50 that are like working out or have scared, and kind of just be like the thought leaders of that. That's what comes to mind right away, because there's lots of questions. Like, I grew up playing soccer. I played soccer all my life from 5 years old to just about 2 years ago when I moved to Vegas, and I stopped. So I've always been heavy on the cardio side. And then I came off of soccer, and all I would do was Peloton, riding the bike. And then this year I started to flip that and do mostly weights. Actually, now it's been, let me think here, it's been like 7 or 8 months, and I do less cardio. So it's like you mentioned, the back injuries and the knees, because you're just scared about those injuries. So to be a thought leader in that specific niche, continue to be a thought leader in that specific niche. That's what the advice I would give you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Look
Of
for
course.
Yeah.
You have a
I want to know, and then I'll turn it back over to Mandi. If you could go back to when you were 21 years old, both of you, and we'll start with V, and give yourself advice based on everything you've learned about life and business, what advice would you give your younger self?
I would probably invest my money more wisely.
Oh.
I got a pretty cool job right out of college, and I probably should have purchased a house or something, and I didn't. And I think that it would have helped set up some of the businesses better in the long run.
Got it. Derek?
I would give a lot of advice to my 21-year-old self.
Same.
If we could keep this podcast rolling to 3 p.m., I mean, I think
I'm gonna get some wine for that.
I would tell myself that everything that was going around me at the time wasn't important. And that the fear of missing out on all the distractions is going to keep you from achieving the things that you really want, and probably set you back an entire decade. That's what I would say. It's like, hey, there's all these things going on around you that seem flashy and important, but in 10 years, you're going to look back and just wish you had gotten started sooner. And you don't need to have all the answers to get started.
Just start.
Yeah. Gotta start. Take us home, Mandi.
Well, I want to know about your camps. It's something I see you talking about, but I don't know anything about these youth camps. So can you just tell us, like, what are these camps? Why are you doing them? When did they start? Like, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. So my first job was a collegiate coach. We both grew up in sports. We both played multiple sports and stayed within sports and fitness into our adult life. And so coaching is kind of our background. And when our son turned 5, 6, started getting involved in youth sports, obviously, naturally, we started to get more involved in that area. And there's a lot of good and bad. Maybe some of the bad is what kind of really drew us back in to the youth sport world from a coaching standpoint. Obviously, Derek's always coached Troy and a lot of his teams. But for me, having the background in collegiate sport coaching, it was an opportunity. And I just saw it as that, I have all this knowledge in various sports, in the business of it. And I'd been doing my primary sport was field hockey. I played field hockey in college, and I ended up coaching field hockey right out of college. And I was with Nike since I was a college coach. So I'm in my 11th year with them. And so it was just an opportunity to kind of grow the value we can provide for youth in our surrounding area. So we ended up expanding from just field hockey to baseball, which is kind of what he's been primarily doing all his life. And then now we also offer a multi-sport camp, which I think is just the funnest thing ever, because I was a kid that loved every sport and any sport. So being able to offer a camp where a kid can show up and play 7 to 8 different sports in the week is just a kid's dream, at least.
Yes.
And then we also partner with one of our friend who introduced us. He's a golf coach at UC Davis, and so we also offer a golf camp. So yeah, we're now offering 11 camps in the summer at the ages 5 to 12, or 5 to 12 for some of them, and then 12 to 18 for some of them. Some of them are overnight camps at some of the universities, and some of them are day camps. And it's just our way of giving back to, an industry, a world, youth sports that shaped us and gave us all of the opportunities that we have. It's fun, and it's a lot of work. And we have no summers, but
that's awesome. Are those on your website too? Like, how can people learn about the camps?
Yeah, on occasion I put, like, in regards to Earn Fitness, on occasion I post it on the Earn Fitness stuff. It's not quite on the website. Actually, we're going to launch a new website in the next 3 days.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah. So it does have a Nike Sports Camp logo at the bottom that you can click on. It'll take you directly to the camps that we offer. There are many Nike Sports Camps, not all of them obviously directed by us, but it'll send you to the ones that we offer.
And that's the earnfitnesssd.com. You keep the same URL. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay, well, you just brought something up. Like, what's your love story? How did you two meet?
Depends who you ask.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
It's actually really cool. Yeah. Really cool story. We had, like I mentioned, a mutual friend. His name is Cy. I coached at UC Davis field hockey, and he coached golf. And then they were friends. Derek's background is in professional poker. And so they played poker together. And Cy, when I first got to UC Davis, I was 21 years old. So I was like really young. I was a head coach starting a brand new program. And he kind of took me under his wing and was mentoring me and helping me kind of navigate all the different aspects of the university and collegiate coaching. And at least to me, one day he's like, I know who you're going to marry. I know who I need to introduce you to. And I was like, and at the time it was odd because I was in a long-term relationship. He was actually engaged, and he's like, I'm not going to step on toes. Just when the time is right, I'll introduce you guys. I know that the time will come. And sure enough,
wow.
A year later, I get a text message from him out of nowhere. And we ended up talking, he was with Cy at the time at the World Series of Poker. And we met like a week later, and that was it.
Wow, what a good story.
That's a good story.
That's a great story.
We have to figure the engagement, then a year later, no engagement, and then the introduction. So that's a good story.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Derek? Anything to add to that?
300 the best little.
She was pretty accurate there. He met Cy obviously at the university, and Cy and I met because we were both pretty passionate about what we do and the way we think. And he approached me one day and was just like asking me questions about poker hands. And I'm like, oh, this guy who's 15 years older than me is just trying to pick my brain about something because he admired the way I played, and we became really good friends. And then, like she said, I love Vegas and the poker scene, so maybe I'll meet you out there one day, Amani.
Yeah,
But
yeah, let me know.
it was June, and we were out there for the World Series playing some tournaments. And one day he was like, "Hey, you should talk to VNA," and he told me about her, and we talked on the phone. And I drove out to meet her after to hang out in San Diego. I think she was here for something related to field hockey, and we hit it off from there. And then we were married a year and a half later.
Ah, that's a good story.
Great story.
Yeah.
That's a
Great
good
story.
story. Yeah, I love that. Love that. I want to really quick before we wrap up, I want to talk about community because, all the science and everything is pointing to right now, like the more tech advanced we become, the more in-person community we crave, the more AI dependent we are, the more one-on-one interpersonal we crave. So as business owners, what are your thoughts about the importance of building community? Obviously, people come in, they pay their money, they work out, they leave, but like this community aspect I'm sensing is really important to you. Where do you think community belongs in your business?
I think that community is really everything. It's not just the fact that AI exists; it's the fact that I feel like AI is being pushed on us.
Mhm.
There's a major push on it, and as humans, being emotional creatures, we just long to be in community. And when that, in relation to our fitness, like there's all these apps you can hop on, and you could do a class through Zoom and have your coach work with you, but just to be in the presence of others is super important. From our model, like VNA said, you want to have the personal training touch to class, but you also have this community of 4 or 5 people who you look forward to seeing, who, if you don't show up, they might kind of shame you the next class for not showing up, right?
Mhm.
You hold each other accountable. You start to learn about each other's lives, and as you join in community for a longer period of time, you start to ask each other more personal questions, you become closer and closer and friends. And the community is kind of what brings you back. It's what ties you in, and um, we need it. I think
Mhm.
I'll keep this last part short, is using my son as an example. The more he's on devices and gravitating towards tech, the grumpier he becomes when we try to get him off of it. But the moment we get him in tune with other people around him, then his face starts to light up with joy. So I could kind of just see it in our youth and adults. We need to remember that we need to be around each other.
Yeah. And I'll add also the relationships, right? Especially the relationship between the coach and the client. Um, there's just so much success when there's a very strong relationship that the client has with their coach, from a trust standpoint, from an understanding standpoint, right? Like there's nothing better for me when a client walks in and is like, "Coach, like today, hey, this has been going on, like my body's not at 100%." And I know them well enough to know that, okay, like today they need me to change something for them so that they can still have a successful workout, but they don't walk out of here feeling overwhelmed, right? So that relationship and those relationships within the gym, whether it be with their classmates or their coach, it's huge. We thrive in those situations. I mean, especially at least for women, we love that. I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. That's good. And I like when you guys do the bring a friend to the workout, or the workouts in the park. I love that. I think I know you've had happy hours. I haven't gone to those yet, but I will at some point. I think outside of the gym, I think that community building is really
Right.
cool too.
Yeah, we do the bring a friend 3 times a year, sometimes 4 times a year. And the reason it's like an open invitation to bring them even to a class that's full. But the reality is that one of the perks that we offer to anybody that's local is a free class. You can come in and take a class, and no strings attached. Yes, we'll tell you about the gym if you want to know it, but we're not going to try to sell you on something that maybe isn't for you. If you walk out of here and you're like, hey, that's not the gym for me, that's totally okay too. But if anybody ever wants to come try us out, we offer a free class. We'll tailor it specifically to you. So we'll ask questions before you come in and make sure that we're being intentional and safe with what you're doing in here. And most importantly, just see what the vibe is like here and see what the community is like here. We get a lot of people that say, I wish we would have come in sooner. So while there is always that intimidation factor with gyms, just remember that oftentimes after we try something, it doesn't feel as bad. So sometimes you got to step a little bit out of your comfort zone to find everything that you have been looking for.
And if you work for the listeners or the watchers, we're going to put the free class link in the notes. So feel free to click on that if you're local in San Diego and you want to try a free class. I love that. You've given us a lot of time. You've been with us for an hour, and I know you're terribly busy and you're parenting and you're running a business and all that good stuff. So how can we give back to you? How can we support you? How can we lift you up the way you've personally lifted me up and how you've lifted our audience up this past hour?
Thank you. I think more than anything, just talking about fitness, right? It could be Earn Fitness, but just talking about the importance of active health lifestyles, not being scared or intimidated to do something that maybe you haven't been able to try. I think as a fitness industry, that helps us continue to improve what we offer, continue to serve people. If we learned anything from, the pandemic and some of the things that happen out of that is our minds and our bodies need to be healthy. And that health is a non-negotiable. Health is wealth. That's the biggest wealth that you can own, and it's earned. You have to put in the time. Nobody's going to put in the time for you. So yeah, just spreading that, if you know anybody that might be struggling with their fitness and you have a fitness routine, just invite them to join you.
That's good.
Cool.
Love that.
All right. Well, we appreciate you sharing your wisdom and expertise with us. I'm so impressed with Mandy's journey, and I know she credits you all with a lot of that. So just great job. And to close, we have there's this gentleman, Anthony Graziano, who's leaving some comments, and he said, how do you make a flat butt round? Asking for a friend. So I'll leave you all with that.
This is my husband. This is my husband, by the way. Thanks, Scoot.
He's got to come in here and do some Bulgarian split squats.
There you go. There's the answer. Bulgarian split squats for you.
That's been his thing, is like, since I've lost weight, he's like, where did your butt go? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm fine with it. He's like, but where's your butt? I'm like, I don't know.
We will give you a round of applause, put you in the green room here. So just thank you for answering our questions and sharing so much wisdom. It was great. I got more. So round 2 for sure. So round of applause here for Earn Fitness. Yay.
Thank you for being here, you guys. This is awesome.
Mandi, nice to meet you.
Yes,
thank you,
nice
Mandy. Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
For sure. Okay, Mandy, another episode is in the books. Make sure if you are watching or listening that you subscribe, rate, and review on the platform that you're watching or listening on, and pay attention, subscribe, and we'll see you soon for another episode of Adventures in Business Live.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye, everyone.